Hi everyone, Dr. Janie here. This is day 973,000 of self-isolation for most of us. Those of you who are working, my heart is with you. I know these are really tough times for you, especially if you're in healthcare. I'm hearing from my friends what's going on in the hospital, what's happening here and there. So my heart's with you. We are down to the wire now for the class. We've got 2 more weeks to go, and these are the most crucial 2 weeks of the course. So I'm encouraging you right now, if you are not at 100%, you need to be at 120% over the next 2 weeks, because I want to see everyone do well in the class. So make sure that you do what I ask you to do, that you engage in the discussions. Remember, initial post, 3 additional posts. That you're online 4 days. So it could be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Pop in, short discussion, make sure it's comprehensive, make sure you're linking to the course materials, make sure that you are addressing the question fully. I did see that last week, where the question had 2 parts and some of you only addressed 1 part of it. Read the question carefully. We're going to talk this week. We have a lot of material covered this week, and it couldn't have come at a more pertinent time than the time that we're in right now with the pandemic. We're going to talk about corporate social responsibility, which we're seeing with companies who are deemed non-essential or voluntarily closed, with how corporations and companies are handling their employees, providing them with pay even when they're closed, or resources or other materials, and how companies are providing for the safety of their customers. Some are doing better than others. Walmart is iffy. I've read that Walmart has this whole strategy about one way on the aisles. Not happening here. And, when I'm seeing a family of 5 in Walmart, it's not safe for them to do that, to bring their small children. So I understand if you have to, but if you can anyway not bring your kids into Walmart, please don't. So anyway, that's social responsibility. Disney, we see, is furloughing their employees. They will be able to keep their health benefits for up to a year, but that means that they won't get pay anymore. So I'm not sure if that means they can apply for unemployment, because I'm not sure about the California or Florida rules. But so we're seeing a lot of social responsibility. Second piece we're talking about is corporate ethics. And again, linked to the pandemic, how are companies responding ethically? And we've had a scandal, for those of you who may not keep up with the news, that there are congressmen who sold a bunch of stock right before the announcement of the national lockdown, and because they had insider information. And so there will be an investigation into that. So that's ethics on that level. The third piece we're talking about is the big piece, the global economy. And we watched it like a house of cards collapse over the last 8 weeks. Once the pandemic came out of China and it started going around the world, and Italy was hit so hard, and the United States was hit so hard, and other countries, France has been hit hard, United Kingdom has been hit hard. Not too much information coming out of India that I could find. Maybe I'm not looking in the right place. But some countries in Africa have actually done very well. They've had deaths, but not at the level we have in other countries, because they had experience with Ebola and they knew what to do. But anyway, so the global economy, and you can watch the stock market, and I'm one of those who watches it because that's how I'm living on my retirement, is the stock market. Watch the stock market, that when we announced different steps and we announced that the curve is flattening, the Dow Jones popped back up again. So looking at the global economy, and as the Asian markets go, the American markets go, and the worldwide markets go. So looking at that, people are now talking about what's good to be imported, what's shouldn't be imported. We're looking at the global trade deficit. For decades, we've had a trade deficit with China, and they are working with a plan now where they're trying to minimize that trade deficit. So those are the things we're covering. What I did want to talk with you guys about, and I'm going to share my screen because I wanted to talk with you about the assignment this week. Let me get the rubric up. Okay, you guys see it? There it is. So this is the rubric. It's available to you. It's tied to where your assignment instructions are. I want to go through it line by line to make sure that you're covering it, because I'm finding a trend, and I'm going to use the trend as an example of the action plan. So the first step it's asking you is to create an action plan that addresses the issues identified within the previous assignments. Okay? So you have two parts. You identified what the problem was. In the last assignment, you came up with metrics. Now you're coming up with the action plan. It's clearly presented, including all of the criteria outlined above, which is that's not touchpad. This is. You'll be reviewing the strategic plan to make certain your solutions address the problem and are within the realm of the mission and vision of your chosen business and organizations. You will explain how you will monitor and evaluate the action plan after it's put into motion. The body should be 2 to 3 pages in length. Does not include your cover and reference pages. Written using APA format. You should have 2 to 3 references for this portion of the paper. And when I say 2 to 3, the 3 is the higher end. That's what gets you to the highest points. The 2 is the lower end. No references get you nothing, really, because you didn't do what it said. You can go to the PSU EDU, 7 steps of action, and look at steps 5 or 6. Guys, here's you a reference right here. Use the material on that website. It's a big hint for you. Okay, carry on. Part 2 explains how the plan will be monitored and evaluated. It needs to be clear. It clearly presented and adequate. It means it's got to be complete. Or if I have questions about it and I don't understand where you're going, you're going to fall into this category. Or if you miss the whole thing, you're going to be down over here. Make sure that you discuss. That means words in this paper. I hate to be sarcastic like that, but make sure I see it clearly that you go back to the strategic plan, okay? Alignment with the mission and vision of the organization. Oh, shoot. All right. Content. This is where people are losing points. Right here. Because you're not giving me outside sources. You're telling me a ton of information about the company and a ton of information about your plan. And sometimes I think you know too much about the company and you're too close to it because you can't step back. I'm looking at it as an outsider and I need to see how are you creating a foundation for your plan instead of just out of the air. What is important about an action plan? That's a big hint. I want to see at least a mention of an action plan includes this, an action plan does this, an action plan, blah, blah, blah. I need to see the words action plan does, action plan includes in your paper, okay? Because this is where we've got some failure. And then writing and format is clear, professional, APA compliant, and error-free. Now, let's talk about that. On some of your papers, you're not putting the title. You're using a template from somewhere and you're not putting a title. And so I see this bracket that says place title here. Okay? Put the title on your paper. It's this attention to details that make a difference. I'll see typographical errors. I will see grammatical errors and reference errors. Here's your APA tip of the day. And it's hard. It's simple, but it's hard. APA does not allow for the use of contractions. And I have kind of let you guys slide on that one a little bit because I've been focused on your content more. In your final paper, week 8, I'm going to be looking for APA stronger because you need to get into that routine. I know there's arguments and you're saying, why do I need to do that? Because. I'm going to tell you like you tell your kids, because. Actually, APA shows that your paper is in standard format and that you have paid attention to the publishing standards. It is the standard of academia. I know I struggled with it. I know I wanted to put contractions. I know I had all kinds of crazy stuff. I had to learn by practice. So let's start practicing now. Okay, so I've gone over the rubric. I expect everyone to do very well. So let's go back to my example. So my example is going to be, my strategy is to have all of you do well in the class, and that aligns with the mission of providing the best education that we can. So my action plan is to review your papers and create a video explaining where there are gaps and areas for improvement that I see across the board in a lot of the papers. So that's what I'm doing right now. That's my action plan. My monitoring is going to be your grades on your Unit 7 paper. So, and it aligns with my strategy. And I gave you guys some management resources. An action plan is important because there's no other way to know that you have adequately covered what needs to happen, when it needs to happen, why it needs to happen, how it needs to happen in creating a contingency plan. So my contingency plan is, if I don't see an improvement in the grades, I will be sending individual emails. How's that for an answer? So you see how I did that? Like that, off the top of my head. Anyway, I hope you guys take this in the spirit in which it's meant, because my goal is to help you be a better student. I want to see you guys come out of the program with a bank of knowledge that is rich and meaningful and helps you to grow in your personal life and your professional life, because you guys are investing a lot of your time, your energy, and your money into an education. And my goal is to make your education experience the best that it can be. So with that, I'm going to sign off now. I hope you all are well. Take care. Continue to use your masks. Continue to sanitize. Wash your hands. Take care of your kids. Take care of your family. And I know everybody's stressing still about the at-home business, but you know, I'm not going to preach a sermon on, you know, going crazy when they open up the states. And I think you guys are close enough to New York and New Jersey to see what's happening. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Take care. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'm here to help you. Bye.